What would happen if one day you were in the hospital, unable to speak, and the doctors had to guess what kind of care you'd want? Would your family know what to do, or would it turn into a stressful guessing game? This is the exact problem a living will is designed to solve. But here's the twist. Many people do not actually need one, or at least, not in the way they think. By the end of this video, you'll know whether a living will is essential for you, and the answer may surprise you. Number 1. What exactly is a living will? A living will is a legal document where you write down your medical treatment, wishes in case you can't speak for yourself. It is not about who gets your money or your house. That is a last will. A living will is about your healthcare decisions, such as whether you want life support, feeding tubes, or resuscitation in specific medical situations. For example, imagine you are in a coma after a car accident. Your living will can tell doctors whether to use machines to keep you alive or let nature take its course. Number 2. Why do people confuse it with a regular will? Most people hear the word will and instantly think about passing down money or property. But a living will only deals with medical care. For example, if your uncle says he made a will to leave his car to his kids, that's a last will. If he also has a document saying he does not want to be kept on life support if he is brain dead, that is his living will. Two very different tools, both important, but for different reasons. Number 3. Who actually needs a living will? This is where things get interesting. Some experts argue that everyone over 18 should have one, because unexpected accidents can happen to anyone, not just the elderly. But in reality, most younger people never get around to it. If you are married, have kids, or are caring for aging parents, a living will can save your family from painful decisions. Imagine your spouse sitting in the hospital, being asked whether you should stay on life support. If you had a living will, your spouse would not have to guess. The stress disappears because you already made the decision for them. Number 4. What happens if you don't have one? If you don't have a living will, doctors will usually turn to your closest family member to make decisions. But families don't always agree. One child may say, "Keep mom alive no matter what," while another says she would not want to suffer. These conflicts can even end up in court. A famous example is the Terry Schiavo case in Florida. She was in a coma for years, and her husband and parents fought publicly over her care. The fight lasted more than a decade. A simple living will could have prevented all of that. Number 5. What decisions can you put inside a living will? The choices usually include things like whether you want CPR if your heart stops, whether you want to be on a ventilator if you cannot breathe, or whether you want artificial nutrition and hydration if you cannot eat. Some people also add organ donation wishes. For example, someone might write that if they are brain dead, they do not want to stay on machines and they want their organs donated. It becomes crystal clear for doctors and family. Number 6. Is a living will the same everywhere? Not exactly. Each state in the USA has its own rules. Some states even use a different name, like advanced directive. The good news is that most states provide free official forms you can download and fill out. For example, in California, the Advanced Healthcare Directive combines both a living will and a healthcare power of attorney. In Texas, you have a specific directive to physicians form. So before making one, it's smart to look up your state's requirements. Number 7. Do you need a lawyer to make one? Here is the surprising part. Most people do not. In many states, you can fill out the form on your own, sign it in front of witnesses, and it's legally valid. Lawyers can help if your situation is complex or if you want extra peace of mind, but they are not always required. For example, a 22-year-old college student who just wants to say, "Do not keep me alive on machines if I am brain dead," can often do this with the state's free form, no lawyer needed. Number 8. What is the difference between a living will and a healthcare power of attorney? Great question. A living will is your written instructions. A healthcare power of attorney, sometimes called a healthcare proxy, is when you name someone to make medical decisions for you. For example, you might write in your living will that you don't want life support if you are in a permanent coma. But what if something happens that you didn't think of? That's where your healthcare proxy steps in to make decisions that match your values. Having both documents together gives you the strongest protection. Number 9. Is a living will set in stone? Not at all. You can change it anytime while you are mentally capable. In fact, Experts recommend reviewing it every few years or whenever your life circumstances change. For example, if you were single at 25, you might not have thought much about these decisions. But at 45, married with kids, you might feel differently. You just update your living will and make sure your family and doctors have the new copy. Number 10. What are some real-life examples? Think about this. A young woman named Sarah had a car accident at 28. She had filled out a living will in college that said she did not want to be kept alive if she was in a permanent vegetative state. Her family honored that decision, and although it was sad, it prevented a long, painful fight. On the other hand, Michael, a 60-year-old, never made one. He collapsed from a stroke. His wife wanted life support, but his adult children said he would not want it. The hospital was stuck in the middle. That family still talks about the trauma years later. Number 11. Is it expensive to create one? Usually not. Most states offer free forms online. Even if you use a lawyer, the cost is often a few $100s at most, much less than the thousands a family might spend on court battles if you do not have one. It is one of the cheapest forms of protection you can put in place. Number 12. Do doctors always follow it? Yes, but with some limits. If your instructions are clear, doctors must follow them. The only exceptions are rare situations where a doctor's personal beliefs conflict, but in that case, they usually transfer you to another doctor. For example, if you write that you do not want CPR, doctors will respect that once your living will is on file. But if your document is vague or unclear, it can create confusion. That's why writing it clearly is so important. Number 13. When is the best time to make one? The best time is now, when you are healthy. People think they can wait until they are older, but accidents and sudden illnesses can happen at any age. Think about it like car insurance. You don't wait to buy car insurance until after the accident. You get it ahead of time. A living will works the same way. Number 14. Why do so many people avoid it? Honestly, because it feels uncomfortable. Nobody likes thinking about death or serious illness. Some people even believe making a living will somehow brings bad luck, which is just a myth. Others think it is only for rich people. The truth is, living wills are for anyone who wants their wishes respected and their family protected from tough choices. Number 15. What should you do after making one? This step is just as important as creating it. You need to tell people where it is, give copies to your family, your doctor, and the person you named as healthcare proxy if you have one. Imagine making a perfect living will, but leaving it in a drawer where nobody can find it. That defeats the purpose. So share it. Number 16. Can a living will cover pain management? Yes, you can include instructions about how much pain relief you want, even if it might shorten your life. Some people prefer maximum comfort, even if strong medication could reduce their time left. Others may want minimal medication so they can remain alert as long as possible. For example, someone might write that they want full pain relief during end-of-life care, even if it means being less awake. Number 17. What about mental health situations? Living wills can sometimes include instructions for psychiatric care, depending on your state. For example, you could specify whether you want certain medications or treatments if you lose mental capacity. This is often called a psychiatric advance directive, and it helps guide doctors if you face a mental health crisis. Number 18. How do religious beliefs play a role? You can write your religious preferences directly into your living will. For example, someone of a certain faith might refuse blood transfusions or want spiritual rituals performed before certain treatments. This makes sure doctors respect not only your medical wishes, but also your spiritual values. Number 19. Can a living will reduce medical costs? Yes, it often can. Prolonged hospital care and life support can cost tens of thousands of dollars. A clear living will prevent unwanted treatments, saving both emotional and financial strain for your family. Number 20. Do hospitals ask for it? Many hospitals now ask if you have a living will when you check in, especially for surgeries. If you do, they keep a copy in your medical file. If you don't, they may encourage you to think about creating one. Number 21. Can you keep it digital? Yes, many states allow digital storage of your living will. You can also register it with an online service that hospitals can access quickly. For example, some people upload it to their state's health registry or keep a copy in their phone's medical ID. Number 22. Do you need witnesses or notarization? Most states require at least 2 adult witnesses or a notary to make your living will valid. This prevents disputes later about whether you truly signed it willingly. For example, your best friend and a neighbor might sign as witnesses, or you could go to a notary for official stamping. Number 23. Can your family override your living will? Generally, no. Doctors are legally bound to follow your instructions if the document is valid. Even if family members disagree emotionally, the living will carries more weight. This prevents your wishes from being ignored in stressful moments. Number 24. How do you make sure doctors follow it in an emergency? You can carry a wallet card that says you have a living will. Some people also wear medical bracelets that mention their directives. That way, even in emergencies, paramedics and doctors know your instructions exist. Number 25. Can it be part of a bigger estate plan? Absolutely. Many people create a full estate plan that includes a last will, a living trust, and a living will. This way, you cover both your financial and medical wishes. It makes everything easier for your loved ones. So, do you really need a living will? For many people, yes, because it takes the burden off loved ones and makes sure your wishes are respected. But for some, like young adults with simple preferences, a healthcare power of attorney may be just as important. The key is not waiting until it is too late. Life is unpredictable, and clarity now saves heartbreak later. Here is the big question I want to leave you with. If tomorrow you could not speak for yourself, would your family know exactly what to do, or would they be left guessing?